What if I told you that not only is Gamergate 2 still going and not dying yet, but it might see a large resurgence with a twist? You know what I'm saying? Like, where there's a new variable being thrown in. What if I told you that Gamergate 2 has a new ally? What if Gamergate had developers on its side? Holy, we got to talk about it. But before we do, make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and oh my goodness, because this is crazy. Okay, so remember yesterday we talked about how Moon Studios CEO Thomas Mahler was going at what's his name, Jiz Gordon, for writing an article based on a Discord comment that he made. Basically, Thomas Mahler was telling people that like the game, No Rest for the Wicked, to, if you enjoy the game and you want to see us continue going, please leave us a positive review. And the reason why he's asking them to do that is because I didn't know, y'all know I'm new to PC gaming. So I didn't know that once people write a negative review about your game on Steam, it remains like that even after you've addressed all the issues in that review. So it's hard to bring your game up to a positive review or overwhelmingly positive reviews when your game is being review bombed or whatever the case may be. And so, the outlets ran with what they ran with, but now there's a new like back and forth between Thomas Mahler and another journalist apparently. So let's get into this. This comes from Grum's brought this to my attention. So I always want to bring the give the right person their just due. You know what I'm saying? Here we go. So he says, CEO of Moon Studios Thomas Mahler calls out game journalist Dean Takahashi, Game Beat and Cuphead fame, accusing him of taking money and favors to sell his voice. Nah, nigga, why would you want to do something like that? I guess we shouldn't be surprised. Says that corrupt journalism started a hate campaign, which continues today against the studio and their games, Ori and No Rest for the Wicked. I think he's right. Between USAID and now this, I fully believe that the money was a root cause of all of the gamer attack articles and more. They were always the true grifters, and DEI consulting is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So, I mean, what he's alluding to here is back in 2022, I want to say, was it Vice or Venture Beat? Somebody wrote a hit piece on Moon Studios stating that, they had a toxic workplace culture and there was some, some issues, when really what it turned out to be was there were two managers, or like Thomas Mahler and another guy, making jokes about one another's culture. They were making jokes about one another. You know what I'm saying? Crack, because they had been working together for so long. We're just cracking jokes on one another, and it made another employee uncomfortable. Are you kidding me? And also remember that it was Eurogamer, I believe, that wrote the hit piece on the Black Myth Wukong studio, or whatever the case may be. So here's where we started. This is a Reddit post, I suppose. What a fucking amazing game. I'm just here to say one thing and one thing only. This game is fucking amazing. I'm 46 years old and was coming to terms with the reality that enjoying video games I did when I was a kid was never going to happen. Okay, and so Thomas Mahler put this out and said that's why we do what we do. And then this person here, who is apparently a journalist, replied right here. He says, I think personally most people, or maybe he's not a journalist, I think personally most people enjoy your game once they get into it. I think though you're using this account to promote the game while at the same time getting extremely political, and it makes supporting the game difficult. Picking a lane would very much help you. Well, maybe he is, maybe he isn't, but I think you should direct it that, because I think Thomas Mahler has been more about he doesn't want to get political and he's being forced. Like there's people in the industry that's trying to force him to get political. He says, I'm not trying to be political at all in any way whatsoever. I do not care about politics and don't want people to drag me into their political wars. And then this guy says, well, then I would give you some solid advice to not say your game was review bombed because you didn't have 5 trans characters, but rather it review bombed poorly because tutorial enemies had 5 times too much HP. You're alienating people entirely unprovoked, and it's strange. Well, you know what I'm saying? I've said from the get-go, like, people should support this game. It's a really good game. I loved it. I'm going to go back and play it. He says, well, read up on what the campaign against us exists in the first place. And he says, you yourself said failure to oversee the game before the breach release led to serious issues. The streaming community gave up on the game after a day. That wasn't a conspiracy. I was kind of hoping you wouldn't be this way. There's just people unhappy with the product. Thomas Mahler goes to, my point is the main reason why Moon has been soaked in controversy in recent years is because a quite corrupt journalist started a hate campaign against us by interviewing two people we laid off while making outrageous claims of us being Nazis, sexist, rapists, and all kinds of stuff. For 12 years before that happened, you only heard positive things about moving studios. So quite convenient how we were suddenly portrayed as the scum of the earth after that article dropped. People from the industry reached out to inform me that this article was penned in order to get unions into the games industry, and that Takahashi guy literally takes money from any source and then sells his voice, and nobody in the industry seems to care about that. He's literally been doing this since the 90s, accepting book deals and other in-kind rewards to then write critically about this or that company. The funny thing is that everyone knows about this, but nobody dares to say it out loud. And why doesn't he harm large companies in the same way? Because they're funding his annual summit. All that information is public. Just do some research. Here's him literally taking a paycheck from Saudi government and calling Mohammed bin Salman a great guy, though misunderstood. Okay, there's that. There you go. Man, this is a lot. This is a lot. Oh my God. This is a lot. Absolutely a lot. This is a lot. Okay. Let's continue though. And we're still here getting attacked over this years after. But sure, Mohammed bin Salman is an amazing guy in Saudi Arabia. Is the future of gaming. But that Mahler guy who made 2 games about a cute forest spirit that were all about love, family, and friendship, he's a Nazi. And yes, I 100% take responsibility for my own failures. I tried to cram too much content into Breach because lack of content was a major criticism when we originally launched. That resulted in the balance of our game being a bit off. We fixed that within a day, and now people seem very positive, and we have a lot more amazing stuff coming. I have a clear conscience. It's just beyond silly that there's these constant hate campaigns from press outlets that are clearly corrupt, pinned with an obvious agenda without overgiving the party that's being accused of something a fair way to respond. Are we perfect? No, who is? But why call us a bunch of Nazis and racists and sexists, knowing that a ton of people out there will just read those headlines and absolutely 100% believe every word written in that article? Many still do. Meanwhile, the same journalists accept blood money from the Saudi government and shields a literal murderer. Wow. Okay, so, I mean, that's what you had there. Okay. Now, he also comes back and he says, I mean, I'm sorry, I did say this was a lot. Okay. I find it positively shocking that we have game journalists write scathing articles about us lurking in our own Discord channels, literally trying to pick apart any sentence I'm posting in order to then create controversy. But when I post information like this that you'd think would generate a huge reaction, since I'm making actual allegations that have been verified by high-profile members within our industry over the last 3 years, not a single one of these journalistic outlets picks it up, not even to make us look bad. It's amazing how blatantly obvious all of this is. One thing that makes journalists that some journalists should do some research now. Someone would try to chase the truth and follow the money, but nope. When it comes time for the gaming press to actually show some journalistic integrity, literally none can be found. Ooh, this sounds like a Kotaku jab. grip. That's honestly a shameful display, and if journalistic values would mean anything to these outlets, heads should be rolling around now. These are the news outlets gamers are reading. They pin the words a lot of you believe, and I've never seen a more blatant display that actually journalistic integrity isn't a thing in the gaming press. Wow. This is, by the way, guys, this is the CEO of Moon Studios. Moon Studios. Okay. So that's what I bring to you guys' attention. What if there's a Gamergate where maybe independent studios and gamers work together? But this is why guys like Hypnotic and others got to use their platform to bridge the gap between themselves and these studios. And I'll give you, check out this video from Legendary Drops. Legendary Drops actually did a one-on-one interview with Thomas Mahler. Okay? A one-on-one. Now, do I consider Legendary Drops Gamergate? Probably not. However, he does, if you actually watch his videos, he does have a lot of Gamergate adjacent opinions. And that's why I believe that Gamergate is not right wing. It's just common sense. It's the middle ground. The real Gamergate, not that John Delabacco shit. I'm just saying, think of the possibilities, gang. If you could use your influence to go and prop up somebody like Thomas Mahler and show them the support, think of what you could do. What if you guys were responsible for saving Moon Studios? That's all I'm thinking. What if you were the reason why Moon Studios was able to continue to work on No Rest for the Wicked? I mean, based on what I see from No Rest for the Wicked, it looks better than that Crime Boss game. So, like, in my opinion, you guys have an opportunity here to bridge that gap and give these developers something to think about. That maybe we shouldn't partner with these journalists anymore or these advertisers. We should go to the gamers or the YouTubers that reflect the opinion of the gamers. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. As always, may the grift be with you. I'll talk to y'all later.
Oh, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.